Hopefully you're not expecting anything different today. It's just more of me rambling. So, yesterday I was watching Bruce Almighty, and there was this part I just totally loved it because, he's just having the worst time. Everything's going wrong. He's so frustrated, and he's driving, and then he starts. He sees the prayer beads on this bracelet or something. He starts praying and asking God to give him a sign. And there keeps being all these signs like, here's your sign. And he wasn't seeing them at all. He couldn't see them for what they were. And the signs are saying, stop, don't go this way. And then he crashes his car. But it was so true to life that, we ask for signs all the time, but then we don't believe them when we see them. We think that, oh, that's a coincidence. That's not real. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is, we think that the only way that we're going to get a real message is if, the sky opens up and God just speaks directly to us in front of everybody. I don't know. I find myself doing it too. Like, I'll ask for signs of something, and then when I get it, I'll be like, okay, wait, no way. For me, like I had said before, like the step that they show me for the future of the planet is they don't show the details that are leading up to it. Like, I knew stuff was going to happen on a different level. Like I knew what was going to be going down or whatever, but on a different level. I just knew what was going to happen, and I can see what the future is. Like, they don't show me any other future. They don't show me, like a lot of people are really into the apocalyptic future, and the smart city robot. What was that movie? It was called, I think it had two, maybe Uma Thurman was one of them, and Josh Hartnett or something. I'm not sure, but we probably mostly everyone has seen that scene where everybody looks exactly the same. I mean, not their faces, obviously, but they'll try and have the same look, same hair, same clothes. Everybody and nobody talks. They just are going through these buildings, nobody talking, going on escalators and stuff. It just is so robotic. And, that was part of the future that they wanted. In those movies, they also show the control. I can't remember in that one if they are implanted with something, so they know like what you're doing or whatever, and that's part of their agenda. So but we're not in that timeline. I know which timeline we're in, and that's the one that they show me. That's the one, like, when I hear people talk about it, it's like, yep, that's what's going on. Yep, that's what's going on. And the other ones, as soon as I hear those people talking, I'm always like, that's fear. That's something that they're going to have to break free of. That's part of their paradigm that they've got to break free from. Another one is going to be super, super hard for people is religion. So many people, especially people who thought that was being spiritual, they thought that's being close to God, is to go through this church and go through these third parties to have them tell you what to do, and trust this book that was altered and edited by the most controlling Luciferian cult there is. And so that is going to be one of the hardest ones, I think, that for people to break free of, is the mind control of religion. And I'm in America, so I'm talking about the ones that are here. I don't know about the ones in other countries, what it's done to their society. I know that there's a lot of religious wars going on in other parts. That's what religion was used for division and control. So that's going to be hard for those people to break free of that, but it's going to be part of the process. And all the people that are going through different things right now, it's all for their own personal growth to break free of these different paradigms. That's why it's affecting different people in different ways. And but the signs thing, you know, like I can see what is coming, and it's all going to be really good. And I really don't feel like I would be here if it was going to be the other, because I totally 100% believe in reincarnation, and we choose our own lives, and you know, it's all about healing and stuff. There's no way. There's no way. I'm anti-war, so there's no way I would come back here for apocalypse. So I see what they show me, but they also show me stuff in my own future. And, you know, they don't show the details how things are going to happen, but they constantly give signs and constantly tell me. And, like, I like to listen to the tarot, some tarot readers sometimes. And when something comes up on my YouTube, like in the morning, I will say if there's messages to me, you know, put it so it's in the first 3, and then I can look at them and tell. And so whatever the message is, you know, when I go in and listen, there will be something in there for me. It's crazy. But one of the things with the tarot ones is it is like the same exact message over and over and over and over. Like, what's the chances of that? I don't think, because I'm not going in and listening to the same reader. I'm not even listening to, you know, I'm not going in and just listening to Cancer and, you know, going from person to person and stuff, and they're all saying the same thing. I'm not doing that. I'm saying that all along for now a few years, they've been saying the exact same thing, all these different people to me. And I have to take that as like the other side, you know, giving me signs, speaking to me directly. And because it's just way too consistent of a message. And you know, they show me what my future is going to be. I'm not going to talk about my own personal future, what they're showing me, but it would be interesting to see like how it plays out. But I don't know, there's some stuff that you just want to kind of keep quiet about. And but you know, I'll say if when something happens, like, oh, they showed me this, just like, you know, with the neighbor thing, when you know, I was getting this communication at the same time I was getting messages that to trust your own psychic instincts and stuff like that. And so I was getting the messages, like I could hear what she was saying underneath what she was putting out in her words. And so then when it all came out, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, that's part of like learning to trust your own instincts and listening to your gut, listening to your own voices inside of you. Not being misled by someone else, because someone else has their own wounds and injuries. They're not reacting or acting towards you in just a healthy way. We're moving towards that, but there's a lot of stuff that has to heal to get there. But a lot of people haven't been able to see it in themselves. So this is kind of bringing everything to the surface, so you get a good hard look at yourself. And it, you know, it's going to be hard for a lot of people. A lot of people want to think that they're super perfect and they don't have a dark side. But, you know, you're the bad guy in someone's life. Everyone is. It's just the way it goes. And there's, you know, definitely relationships where we want there to be them the bad guy and we're the good person. And we'll go outside of the relationship trying to get people to agree with us. You know, like, look, you know, what they do. They're the problem. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm, you know, the innocent victim here. They've got the problem. And, you know, that will continue in every relationship until you look and start paying attention to yourself of, you know, what are your patterns? And a lot of times for people who are in that mentality, it is because they've been victimized over and over and over, and they're looking, they're willing to accept it. Like you start dating someone and they start being controlling or something, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing the right thing. I guess I'm too stupid. I guess they know better than me. Um, at some point when someone is, taking over they're going to get too close in your lane. Something is going to finally get you to say, hey, wait a minute. You're crossing boundaries. You're in my lane. Back off. And that's where, a lot of problems start happening, because the pusher will push, 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 and the victim will, keep moving back and moving back, like changing the line in the sand, and then eventually there's a wall, and they both hit, and then it is a tug of war, and it can get violent. It can become, it's an unhealthy way of living. And but you have to recognize certain patterns in your own self, in your own life and stuff. And there's just so many people who are in bad relationships who think they don't deserve better, from all their wounds and stuff. But you have to know you deserve better. You have to set your standards. You have to love yourself, take care of yourself, put yourself first. And that's a hard thing to learn. We're not in a society, as a matter of fact, if you put yourself first, they've muddied that, they've dirtied it, you're self-centered, you're a narcissist. But it's healthy, just like on an airplane, when you have to do the mask before you do it to someone else, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody. Otherwise, it just becomes dysfunctional, becomes resentful, angry, it just becomes toxic. So the more that you focus on your own healing, because you can't fix them, you can heal and go on with your life, and they may just continue, and they may go find another person just like you that they feel that they can walk all over, until that person decides, hey, get off of my back. But it's their pattern that they have to break. They have to recognize, why do I feel like I have to control people? Why do I feel like I have to bully, boss, or whatever with people? Why can't I just be equal? Why can't everybody just be the same? Why can't they have an opinion that's different than my opinion and stuff? Oh, and I was also going to do an update about the saga next door. So, I don't know if I had said this before. Because sometimes I'll look at my video thing and I'll be like, God, that's a lot of videos. What the fuck am I talking about on all those? I'm not going to go back and watch them though. So, but, Stella had gotten out of their gate a couple times. And Stella's a super expensive dog, especially for out here, but she's also super big, and that scares a lot of people. And they have guns. So, and these trucks that go speeding down our street, the construction workers. So there's a lot of risk for your dog to get outside of your gate, especially a big, expensive dog, because you have thieves around here who will take a dog and steal it and then go sell it to somebody for, go sell her for $100 to someone else. And that's what some of these people around here like. So, and she's like my child. She came right after, I was alone, because when my kids moved out, I was married, and so I didn't really have that empty nest. I was, totally going in this other life that wasn't the right place to go. It was like those signs in Bruce Almighty were freaking everywhere, and I couldn't see them. But, I had to learn. So I went into that relationship. I learned a lot, changed my life for the way better. And, but Stella came in and she just became like a child to me. And so plus it's just me and her. So I'm very watch over her and protective. And once she had gotten out of their gate a couple times, I started becoming hyper aware, to see, what's up with their gate. So, and that pattern's been going for, I don't know, a couple months, where I started really tuning, if I look out, I'm like, what's the deal with their gate? And then even shutting that gate in between us, it's still like that, it's like a Pavlov's dog or something, that it's really hard to break a pattern. So once you've already set this pattern of being really tuned in to what's on with their gate, then it's hard to, reel it back in and be like, okay, you don't need to look. You have to consciously go in and keep on like readjusting your brain. So when I look out, I have to consciously go, okay, look somewhere else. Who cares about the gate? You don't even have to worry about it anymore. I mean, she went out yesterday in that frenzy and sealed it all up, put rocks. Yeah, last night they sealed their window shut on their house. I'm not sure, maybe I'm just, it's timing and I'm taking it personally, but, maybe it's just drafty and they have to wait and replace it when it gets a little warmer. I'm not sure. It was like an all day thing, closing this window. But, now it is a conscious effort that I have to readjust my mind to, don't look out there, look up here, make it closer in where my attention is in my own yard and stuff. Quit looking out and looking, to see the road. I have to look over their driveway because their house is like on the turn. So when I look out, I see their driveway, but the road. So when people are walking, when the dog's barking, it was always like, that's where I would look out. But now it's become such a weird issue, and I've got to not worry about what goes on over there. So I just have to readjust my own mind. And so that's what I noticed yesterday when I would look out the window. It's like you have to consciously tell yourself, because, and it's important. And I'm talking about it because it's not just important for me. I was on the HOA all last year. Luckily, it was during quarantine. It was only on Zoom calls. I had to go to a few meetings in person, but HOAs need to be redone just like government does. So, anyways, being on the HOA, then I saw how many neighbors, it becomes a Hatfields and McCoys. That's a real thing. And Hatfields and McCoys was a real thing, but so many people become that. And that's how I felt like, oh my gosh, this is like, she's out there in a frenzy, sealing up the gate, and now she just blocked her window. It's like, I want to build one of those wood things, a wood storage building there, because it will block more of their driveways. So that'll be nice. So, but I'm going to need help to build that. I can't just go out and build it by myself. I don't have a way to get the pallets and stuff here. But just seeing what happens in some of these other blocks or neighborhoods and stuff. And just plus over time, just seeing what happens in neighborhoods when neighbors start fighting over stupid shit. I've seen it in shows where people have gone out and shot their neighbor. I mean, people get crazy over this stuff. I'm watching it. I mean, getting crazy. Like, how do you get this crazy? Because I said your gate's open. I was like, what the hell? This is like wacky shit, man. So, but that's toxic to me. I don't need that kind of weird shit in my life. So now that I have the solution of my dogs safely in my yard, I don't have to worry about them anymore. I gotta get my mind off of what goes on with them. I've got to get my head out of the whole game, and just blow it off. But it's hard too when you get an emotional response in your body. And, I'm sure it's really hard for her. I'm sure that, this is probably eating her up way more than me. I feel glad I just want to figure out how to cut myself off more, how to just go back to like, I don't know you. I don't care to know you. And because I had some neighbors across the street when I first moved in, and they, before I had a fence, and I just moved in, I thought, oh, I'll be out in the country, and I can just teach my dogs to just stay in my own yard. This will be so cool. No, those neighbors freaked out. They came out and started screaming and yelling at me. I was like, I thought they were joking at first. I was like, this is weird. And no, they weren't joking. And then they started calling animal control on me. Animal control kept coming. So, I've already had the experience of these one neighbors across from me that I have to feel like more protected from. But, this is just going to be a vacation home once I get done with it. I'm not going to live here year round. Ugh. I would like to be a part of the community at certain times because I really want to I think that it's going to be live music and festivals and flea markets and stuff so that people can get out and barter and sell their things and stuff. I think that there's going to be so much more community bonding and stuff. But, that's going to be more of a summertime thing. I don't need to be here year round. I don't have kids that are in school. I'm going to travel and go do other things. But to come back in the summer and get music and food and social gatherings and dancing, that's what I want to have. So for me, for my own mental health, it's and my own spiritual growth, because that's what I'm always trying to do. Like, I don't want to judge you. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to step on your toes. I don't want you to step on my toes. And, just live in harmony and peace. And so, in this three-dimensional world, you have a lot of things that are pushing you out of balance. You can try and be as balanced as possible, but you're going to have triggers. There's a lot of stuff still going on. We'll get to that point of being able to live in harmony and peace and stuff. But for now, we're still in transition. It's a rocky road. And so you're going to be triggered. And, just working on finding balance in your own self and, how to make your own mind healthy, not to, like, I can't do anything about her, I'm not going to argue with her, try and convince her, try and tell her anything, no, have your thoughts, have your beliefs, whatever. I don't need to convince her I'm an okay person. She doesn't see an okay person, that's on her. I don't care. But, you have to, one thing that I think people who are like more empathic and stuff will understand what I'm saying is when you're very sensitive to the energies, like you can feel it. Like, especially when it's like 100 feet away, you can feel like it's like machine gun daggers coming at you or something. You just feel this anger directed towards you. And so, that you have to be able to put some of that stuff like aside and, just kind of be like, there is stuff in the Bible that is, I feel, accurate to God's law. But it's just the whole thing is just messed with. It's edited and things are said that, because it shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to go through Jesus to get to God. Jesus is the same as we are. He's not different. He was a holy person. He chose that. He chose to be a holy person. He chose to live by God's law and pass the message on how others can live by God's law. But, about forgiving others or, not judging or whatever. I can't think of it now. I'm not a Bible person. Some of the stuff, if I say it, it's stuff that I remember from when I was a little kid. Like, I don't even think I could do the 10 Commandments right. I don't even think I know all the 10 Commandments anymore. And when you're a little kid, well, when I grew up, that was the thing. Sunday was church day. You went to church. Everybody went to church. and you went to Bible study or Bible class or whatever if you were a little kid. I mean, it was a big thing once you got to leave Bible class and actually go into the church service with the grown-ups. Most of us had to, for years and years, you had to just go to what was it called? Like a Bible study Sunday morning class or something? I don't know, something like that. It wasn't like 5 or 6 words, it was like 2, but somehow those words were mixed up in there. But it was, you know, you go in and you learn the commandments, you color pictures of Jesus or whatever. I don't even remember the stuff they talk about. I just kept, when they would be talking, I kept thinking, like, what are they talking about? We're here because the aliens put us here. We're an experiment. We're being watched all the time. What are they talking about? Why are they saying this? If Adam and Eve are, it's because the aliens put them there. It doesn't have to do with God. And I kept on thinking, how weird. Why do they keep saying this? Once you start telling them, then, you know, you're just a poor little crazy kid. So, but I am doing that, you know, working on trying to keep my, even just coming in and talking now it's kind of like a distraction to just, you know, that was one thing being in quarantine for a spring and summer. You know, you could be outside a lot. There was a lot to do. I built things. I mean, I did so much stuff. And, you know, to me, quarantine seemed really great. But this last bit, you know, it was a pretty rough fall. But this winter, oh, geez, this is a rough winter. And so to be locked away from people for all that time, and then to be at this last part and it be still, and to be so locked in the house, like I can't believe I've watched all the movies on Lifetime. Prime, I can't find a movie. Plex, he's always putting on new movies. Yesterday he put one on, some new movie, and I couldn't even get through the first 20 seconds of the trailer. I got so pissed. It was such propaganda bullshit. Stay home where it's safe or something, I think is the name of it. And it's, you know, COVID's come back worse than ever. And it's just, just watch the trailer. God, it was such propaganda bullshit. But that's the thing with the new movies. It's just disgusting. Yeah, I mean, so much propaganda, so much indoctrination, and so much, it's just so clear. It's just sickening. And so anyways, it's so hard to find something to watch. I turn on music, I dance, I draw. I've run out of campuses. Plus last year I had all these different shows. I was gonna have all of my art was gonna be all in Bellingham displayed all year almost, and then it all shut down. After I get all those, you have to wait a year to get your show. Anyways, and then you finally get it, and the whole world shuts down. So, you know, all these paintings I did to try and have them ready so I could sell them. Now they're all like stuffed everywhere. So, yeah, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go paint some more. Where am I gonna put them? I'm like, oh my gosh, you run out of room. And the other day I was even going to start paint. I brought one out and I was drawing on it. So I was going to paint over one, and just like, okay, I don't like this one that much anyway. I'll just paint over it. But I couldn't even, it wasn't working. I just need some fresh canvases. But I've got so little storage right now. I just got to finish everything at my house and get out of quarantine, move on with our lives, and go start living again. One thing too is, you know, when I've been talking a lot about the healing and stuff like that, well, there's a certain group of people, you know, that have been severely abused, enslaved, and, you know, that group of people that is coming into a time of healing, that's, You know, that's a lot more directed towards what I'm talking, the stuff I'm talking about is a lot more directed towards, like, you know, girls that had a sex abusing grandpa, dad, uncle, brother, or something like that. And then, you know, they are abused, you know, while they're a little kid. And then they go back into other crappy relationships. And, you know, that's who I'm talking more to. Like, it comes down to you having to break those habits and having to recognize your part in it and stuff. Not saying like you want it, but there's a part where you play that start becoming so submissive. You don't stand up for yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You be pushed around by other people who are pushy and bossy. And where other people wouldn't give them the time of day, you know, you feel bad for them. So I'm talking more to those girls and boys, or, you know, whoever relates to it. But the other people who are coming out of where they've been held against their will, victimized, abused, sold, traded, been forced to do things that were, you know, beyond human, beyond, you know, what we can even comprehend. So beyond our comprehension, you know, they've got, you know, they're going to have a lot of healing. So I'm not saying, like, you know, the stuff I'm saying, I'm talking about is nothing compared to what they're going to have to go through. I mean, you know, when you know in your own self something's wrong and someone still forces you to do something, or they're going to do something really bad to you, I mean, that's like a whole nother level of, you know, that connection, you know, because you're having to go against everything that you believe in. You believe so much about not hurting others and stuff, and then people are forcing you to, or they're gonna do something bad to you. And when you're a little kid, you know, that's so I just want to make that clear, because, you know, I know there's a lot of people. It's gonna make me start crying. Ugh, it's just so sad. I'm trying to talk. Hold on. Because those people are going to be, you know, entering back into society and looking for healing. And there's people who've never lived in, you know, a society that we've all been taking, well, we've been taken advantage by, but we've all been taking advantage of certain things in our society too. And some things, you know, people have actually lived as prisoners, born as a prisoner and lived as a prisoner their whole life. And, you know, I talk about split realities. And there's certain things, you know, that we're not allowed to talk about on here. And this is one. Because that reality is just, it's far beyond imagination for the rest of us. When I found out there's, I should have brought tissue. When I found out there was people who had never seen grass, or the sky, never even had the chance to feel love, much less lose love. There's people who have endured things that are beyond imagination. And, you know, I'm
I'm talking about healing and stuff, but I'm just, we can't really acknowledge all that stuff yet, of all that, so we can't really talk about that. So I heard somebody saying something yesterday, and I just thought, I just need to make it clear that I'm not saying, like, you could have stood up for yourself and got away. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to anybody. I'm not even saying it, to some 13-year-old little girl who, feels trapped. All I can say to them is that there's hope. You can change you can change your life. You can change your world. And just, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to us, that we have to trust. And, even when we don't understand, like, because I know there's so many people who are always, I would never, ever pick this life. I would have never picked this life. And somebody who has gone through some of that horrific stuff, then you would think, like, well, why would they pick that life? They would never have picked that life. But, that's on our three-dimensional thinking. That's in this, what we see, hear, and feel thinking. And, when you're a soul and you're not feeling these things, these emotions and stuff, I think, it changes it. It gives it another fractal, another hard part. But when you are, a soul, yeah, you would have no problem picking a life like that, because you would know it doesn't matter the things that happen to you, because you are changing something else. Like, you would come in there and not all of them. I mean, every soul is going to have their own thing, their own reason for doing something. But I'm just saying that there is souls that come in to be a catalyst to create change. That 3-year-old dying of some rare cancer, so that it is the catalyst for someone to go in and find something else that is healing for something that's super common. There's like things that we can't see because we're down here and we're all so caught up in our emotions. We're not looking from up here. But when your perspective is from up here, and the more you connect up here, the more you can see things in a broader way, and the more you see, like, things aren't what we think they are. They don't have to be as painful as what we make them sometimes. And I always say everything, to just always look for, how you can heal from it, especially anything that triggers you. Just look at, what can I heal from this? What keeps coming up to me? Why is this, trigger me so much? And it's rarely, just like the top thing. You usually have to go in a little deeper to try and figure out what your triggers are, what to heal what is inside. Like in this situation with, I kind of pick up on that she has a lot of rejection. She has a lot of ego going, and me not, thinking that she's the coolest person in the world and saying, your gate's open, you're irresponsible, then that is rejection. That's, so all of her, crazy stuff that she's doing in response to that, that's like the lower chakra reactions. That's like you're reactive when something happens like that, because we all have these interactions. But when something happens like that, it's like, okay, I'm not going to react. I'm going to go in, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to breathe, I'm going to relax, I'm going to ask my guides, like, what do I need to see here? What is it that I need to see? Why am I being triggered to act crazy? I'm not a crazy person, so why am I being triggered to act crazy? And, because the more you heal yourself, the more you figure out what things are triggering you, the happier, more, it's not just secure, it's content that you will feel in your own life.
You know, you won't feel troubled. Like, I'm not feeling troubled by, you know, I didn't feel like I needed to run out and start sealing up, you know, build a brick wall between houses and, you know, dig a moat or something. So, you know, I feel like I feel more centered than her about it. I'm not judging her. I mean, she's young. She's got, you know, a lot of issues. And, you know, stuff that's going on right now is going to trigger. All this stuff is going to be coming up for her. And she's going to have a lot to heal. I mean, I just, believe me. I mean, there's stuff that she thinks is real that is not real. She very much lives in that alternate reality that I've talked about a lot. And in that alternate reality, the people aren't seeing what's really going on. They're seeing what they're being told. And it's all fake. Like, you can talk to someone in a couple minutes and know if they really know what's going on or if they are living this false reality. It's like that fast, you can tell. And yeah, so she has a lot, you know, I know a lot of people, and the world's going to be crumbling, just like that movie. I know I've said that before, that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, when it's all crumbling as he's walking. It's just like, that's how I see it, what's going to be happening with all this stuff. And I think it's going to be starting maybe this week, or by the end of this week, or for sure next week. But, you know, things are going to start. I mean, there's so much stuff that's coming up to the top. It's like if you were a bad complexion face, oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's like whiteheads all over. If the earth was like that, a bad complexion, acne face, yeah, it would just be erupting with just pus everywhere. But, you know, that's how we're going to heal. And that's how we have to just as much stuff as you can let go of, and just start recognizing. Like, if you're listening to this stuff, you probably are already in the process of trying to figure out how to rebuild yourself, how to figure out, like, what does it all mean if everything we've been told is all fake. And, you know, there is going to be, I just think, you know, it's going to be a challenge, but there's just, the more that you can just listen to yourself, listen, and, you know, if you live in a house full of people, take in a little speaker and put on some nice soothing music and go in the bathroom and take a bath. And it is such a good place to meditate. And the water, it is like a receiver. Like, you will get more insight. And, you know, when I'm going to let my water out, do a blessing, send it out, and it will carry that energy out with the water. The water will put it out. It will come out in the rain and stuff. If you want to send love, you know, give gratitude and love to your water and send it out, and it will, you know, come across the planet. But that's a great place to, and, you know, when you're having a lot of problems and things are seeming overwhelming, and because it's not going to just be like your own self that is going through this. It's going to be all the people around you are all confused, you know. How do you figure out when everybody is so confused? And, you know, it's learning how to trust, learning how to listen, learning how to watch the signs, learning how to connect with something that's bigger than you. And that's what this is all going to be about. And that's how we're going to be able to move into being a species that can have high technology and not, you know, blow our own heads off. And that's why we're going to have more technology released. It's all happening synchronistically together, all of these things. Everything is just coming together, and then we're moving ahead. And it's going to be really great. This period of time of transition and healing is going to be, it's going to be what is makes us who we are. So You know, don't get caught up in like, well, I should be able to get over this. I should be able to heal real quick and stuff. Oh my gosh, mine took years, years. And so don't feel like you have to rush through this. And, you know, that this is a test or something. This is why you're here. You came here for this transition. You came here to learn about yourself, to understand yourself, to grow as a soul. So, you know, enjoy the ride. This is like, you know, if you want to look at it, this is like you are at the, I don't know, I'm not a surfer, but I know that there's certain places that they will all go at a certain time of year because the waves are so great and tons from all over the place. Tons of surfers will all go to this particular place to ride these great waves. It seems like it's Australia, but I'm not sure. But that's kind of essentially what we're all here as souls to do. Is like we all, oh, this is going to be a great wave and we're all going. So, you know, don't get caught up in judging yourself. Judgment, division, all that stuff is all the paradigm we're leaving. We're going away. That's as much as you can recognize it in your own life when you're doing it to others, release it. We don't need it. We don't need to judge others. We don't need to be judged ourselves. We just need to live. Be free. You know, that's God's law. Go out and experience this planet and treat each other the way we want to be treated, you know. So just, you know, through this process of healing, just don't get caught up in like you have to, you know, you have to be over this in a couple weeks or a couple months, you know. Just, you know, and more than likely you're going to be helping someone else. As soon as you go 2 steps up, you're going to be helping someone try and get those steps up with you. So this is going to be a process, and we're going to still be moving ahead during this process. Like things will still be in movement, you know, that we'll still be in this process of change on this planet. But on a personal level, just don't get caught up in judging yourself and judging others, and you know, just ride the wave, because it's all going to be great at the end. Have a great day.